graduation, my son hugged his stepdad, called him the reason I made it, then handed me the catering bill. I dropped it and walked out. I'd been paying child support for 12 years, never missed a payment, drove 2 hours each way for every parent-teacher conference, stayed up until midnight helping with college essays. But when Brandon walked across that stage, he didn't even glance my direction. He went straight down those steps to Greg, hugged him like Greg had been there for every scraped knee, every baseball game, every late-night talk about girls. I sat there in row 17, hands already sore from clapping for every other kid, waiting for my moment. It never came. His mom had the front rows reserved. Her family, Greg's family, all smiling and taking pictures. Me? I got a seat next to a janitor who looked about as excited to be there as I felt. When they called Brandon's name, I stood up so fast my knees cracked, clapped so hard my palms stung, and watched my son walk right past me like I was invisible. The hug with Greg lasted forever. I saw Brandon's shoulders shake, heard him say something that made Greg tear up. The whole crowd went quiet, then erupted in applause. I kept clapping. What else was I supposed to do? Afterward, everyone flooded outside for photos. Brandon was surrounded by his mom's side of the family. Greg had his arm around Brandon's shoulders in every shot. I stood near the parking lot, checking my phone, pretending I had somewhere important to be. 20 minutes later, Brandon finally walked over. No smile, no hug. He just pulled an envelope from his gown and held it out. Hey, can you cover this? I opened it. A catering receipt. $3,200 for tonight's party. Mom says it's kind of your contribution, he added, flat, like he was asking me to pick up toilet paper from the store. I looked at him, really looked at him. At the watch on his wrist, the one I'd saved 6 months to buy him for his 16th birthday. At the brand new Nikes Greg bought him last week because his old shoes were embarrassing. At the son who couldn't even say thank you for coming, Dad. The receipt slipped from my hand, floated down between us like a white flag I was done waving. I didn't yell, didn't argue, didn't make a scene. I just turned and walked to my car. Behind me I heard his mom's voice. Kyle, where are you going? I didn't answer. I got in my car, started the engine, and drove home in complete silence. That night, my ex texted me. Kyle, I heard you walked out. Brandon's disappointed. It was supposed to be his night, not yours. His night, not mine. I'd sat in the back row, clapped until my hands hurt. Didn't interrupt, didn't complain, didn't ask for a single photo. And somehow I was the one making it about me. I stared at that text for an hour, didn't respond. The next day, my brother called. Mom says you caused a scene at Brandon's graduation. What happened? I laughed. Actually laughed. I didn't say a word, Dan. I dropped a receipt and left. That's it. Well, Brandon's telling everyone you embarrassed him. Of course he was. 2 weeks later, my phone rang at 11 p.m. Brandon. Hey, Dad, so I need you to co-sign a loan for school. It's not that much. Greg would do it, but his credit's tied up right now. I sat there in the dark, phone pressed to my ear, listening to my son treat me like a backup plan. How much? I asked. $18,000. Mom said you'd probably help out. $18,000. For a kid who'd handed me a catering bill like I was the hired help. I thought about those 12 years. Every soccer game in the rain. Every child support check sent on time. Every birthday card, Christmas present. Every I love you that went unanswered. Then I did something I'd never done before. I said no. Brandon, ask Greg, the guy who raised you. The reason you made it, remember? Silence on the other end. Dad, come on. Don't be like that. Like what? Honest? You're being petty. I almost laughed again. No, son. I'm being realistic. You made your choice at graduation. Live with it. The line went dead. My ex called 5 minutes later, screaming about how selfish I was. How I was abandoning my son when he needed me most. I let her yell herself out. Then I said, I've been there for 18 years. Where was my hug? Where was my thank you? Where was my spot in the photos? She hung up.